Good evening. My name is Brian Haggerty. I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees for the El Paso Community College. I'd like to welcome you to our monthly meeting. Anyone that would like to join our meeting on the internet, you can go to www.youtube.com/user/goepcc. I'd like you all to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Go ahead and call the roll. Bill?
Mr. Exer,
Yeah, I'm here.
Mrs. Robles,
Here.
Ms. Nájera,
Here.
Mr. Mendez,
Here.
Dr. Graham,
Here.
Mr. Haggerty.
Here.
Ms. Pina will not be joining us tonight. Item 1.4, approval of minutes. There are none. Item 1.5, welcome to guests and staff members.
I'd like to welcome all of you here this evening on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Go ahead and go to open forum.
Item 1.6, open forum. There is none, sir. Item 1.7, presentations by individuals, groups, and organizations. Item 1.7.1, Dr. William Serrata, College President, will recognize individuals who have retired from El Paso Community College.
There we go. Chair Haggerty, members of the board, it's my honor and privilege to recognize Ms. Rosemary Lujan, who retired from El Paso Community College with more than 30 years of service. She began her career at El Paso Community College in 1989 as a part-time employee in the records department of the Admissions and Registration Office and worked her way up to a full-time position as an admissions and registration assistant. During her tenure at EPCC, Ms. Lujan was an integral part of the Admissions and Registration Office. She volunteered for various EPCC activities and committees and has represented the college in events like Apply Texas intake sessions, TACRO Operation College Bound, and countless commencement ceremonies. Ms. Lujan demonstrated an exceptional commitment to El Paso Community College and touched the lives of her colleagues and college friends. As a natural leader and teacher, she was always happy to share her knowledge and experience with her team. She recognized the value of education for her students and worked to provide the best experience for all she served. In particular, she was quite the problem solver and made sure that she always provided students with the answer or a direct path to the answer. Ms. Lujan's willingness to put in extra time and effort to serve our students demonstrated a commitment to excellence and set the bar for customer service expectations in the department. In her retirement, Ms. Lujan looks forward to spending time with her children and grandchildren and getting some much-needed rest. While we will miss her dearly, we wholeheartedly wish her joy and good health in the next stage of her life. Ms. Lujan, thank you for your over 30 years of service to the college district.
Where are you?
She's running a little late.
No worries. When she gets here, Dr. Maya, just cue me. I'll come down and provide that to her. Sure.
Item 1.7.2, optional presentations will be made by the presidents of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, the Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association.
I'm happy to report that I have nothing to report.
Section 1.8, communications. Item 1.8.1, discussion and review regarding data, statistics, policies, and general information related to El Paso Community College by the Board of Trustees.
Chair Haggerty and members of the board, I'd like Mr. Fernando Flores, our Vice President for Finance and Administration, as well as our Chief Financial Officer, to provide the board with an update on the Student Success Endowment Fund, where we are, where we're headed, and I will turn it to Mr. Flores. Vice President Flores.
Thank you, Dr. Serrata. Chair Haggerty,
Members of the board, Dr. Serrata, good afternoon. I'm making the presentation this afternoon in fulfillment of one of the parameters of the Student Success Endowment Fund resolution, which says that at the first meeting of the Board of Trustees of the fiscal year, the Executive Committee shall annually prepare and present a budget and a report to the President and the Board of Trustees. That meets one of the parameters. So the agenda today will provide a background for the Student Success Endowment Fund, how we got here, and go over many of the compliance items that are in the resolution. Then we'll look at the investment of the endowment. And then we'll take a very detailed look at the scholarship awarding process that has already occurred. And then we'll look at the annual report for fiscal year 23-24 to look at the actual performance of the endowment funds. And then we'll look ahead to the budget for fiscal year 24-25. So on May the 6th, 2021, $30 million was gifted to El Paso Community College. It was an unrestricted gift by Mackenzie Scott through the National Philanthropic Trust. Funds were immediately invested in the Texas Local Government Investment Pool. On August the 30th, 2023, the Board of Trustees approved a resolution creating the permanent endowment. Then the very next day, the funds were transferred from the unrestricted fund to a restricted endowment fund, and that's where they reside. The corpus plus accrued interest is invested in Texpool. The corpus is the initial $30 million that was gifted. That is the corpus. And the funds remain there today. Some of the main resolution parameters are these. In order of priority, never spend any of the corpus deposited in the Student Success Endowment Fund for any purpose whatsoever. Only interest income can be spent, and then any interest earned will be allocated based upon the next three bullets. 90% of the interest accrued every fiscal year shall be used to award scholarships to EPCC students to promote student success, college degree completion, and/or CTE certification. That's 90% of the interest earned. 9% of the interest accrued every fiscal year will be for students that have any emergency-related needs as determined from time to time in the sole discretion of the Board of Trustees. Then 1% of the interest accrued every fiscal year shall be allocated back to the corpus to allow the corpus to grow over time. This is a very important parameter that is set forth in the resolution. It talks about investment of funds in compliance with Texas Public Funds Investment Act. That is actually the law that guides how public entities can invest their money. We're subject to that. And CAK legal and CAK local under EPCC's Board of Trustees purview or through the advice of a financial advisor. On July 24th, 2024, the Board of Trustees approved the firm of Hilltop Securities Asset Management to help strategize how to invest the funds, including the Student Success Endowment Fund. On August the 28th, 2024, the Board of Trustees reviewed and approved certain updates to the college's investment policy. I'll go back a little bit and just review a couple of the major changes in that CAK local policy for investments in general. Maturities were extended from 3 years to 4 years. We extended the window. And then for any endowment funds, the window was extended to 7 years. Now, also added in there is the investment strategy for the endowment fund that says that investments will be made to maintain the value of the corpus. And then investments will be made to generate an interest revenue stream for scholarships. So the investment policy allows also for investing in investment pools, which we do. But investment pools have two categories. One of the categories has commercial paper in it. And just wanted to let the board know that we have gained assurances of the safety of commercial paper as administered by TexPool. So going forward, we tend to avail ourselves of the opportunity to invest in the pool that has commercial paper as well. There'll be about an 8 to 12 basis point bump from doing that. The last bullet presented in this board agenda is a list of broker-dealers for your approval. The reason that that is in there is the investment firm of Hilltop Securities has a list of broker-dealers they deal with, and it is part of the CAK local that any broker-dealers that we use have to be brought to the board for approval. So we're meeting that requirement of our policy, and you'll see that later for your approval in the board agenda. Another parameter in the resolution is that upon the recommendation of Dr. Serrata, an executive committee will be appointed by the Board of Trustees. That has already occurred. The charge of that committee shall be to report to and be subject to the exclusive control and oversight of the Board of Trustees to manage the Student Success Endowment Fund. We have already had our first meeting of the committee back on March 20th, 2024. Dr. Serrata attended and provided us guidance going forward. The committee is comprised of the following individuals. I'm the committee chair. Dr. Carlos Amaya is the vice chair. Ms. Josette Shanasi is the secretary. Ms. Ines Lopez, executive director of financial aid. Dr. Carrie Moe, AVP External Relations, Communications and Development, and Dr. Steve Smith, VP of Instruction, Workforce Education, Ms. Ana Zuniga, AVP Budget and Financial Services. The other committee that was formed is the appointment of the Scholarship Selection Committee was made by Dr. Serrata. So the charge of this committee is to implement, review, and oversee criteria and selection of students for scholarship awards. The committee is led and chaired by Ms. Ines Lopez, Executive Director of Financial Aid, who is also on the executive committee, right? Michael Talamantes, Director of Recruitment, John Aguirre, Coordinator of Financial Aid Scholarships, Mr. Blaine Primozic, AVP Workforce and Continuing Education, Ms. Shannon Valles, Psychology Professor, Adriana Flores, Counselor, and Ms. Mirela Pasillas, Early Alert Academic Advisor. There's a nice cross-section of staff comprising this committee. One of the requirements in the resolution is that annually we will prepare a report, a listing of individual securities as of August 31st, 2024. Well, what I would let you know is the funds here are invested in just one investment pools. So the report on the investment, you will not see individual securities this year. But going into next year, as we strategize and look to go out with longer maturities, you will see this format of information presented to you in that report. So we're required to do additions and changes to the market value, listing of securities by maturity date, show the fully accrued interest for the reporting period, average weighted yield to maturity of portfolio as compared to the benchmark, which is the 90-day T-bill rate, And then a statement of compliance of EPCC's investment portfolio. In the monthly treasurer's report that we provide you, we follow this format already, but this is the specific requirement of the resolution. So let's look at the annual report for 23-24. Let's see how the fund has been doing. So as of to date, the corpus plus the interest in tax pool has grown from $30 million to $33,184,811. And it's comprised of the corpus of $30 million for fiscal year 2021, interest of $5,435, average yield of 0.05593%, and a benchmark of 0.0595. So for 2021, that was the year, obviously, of the pandemic. Everything got hammered, including interest rates. Consequently, that's why the rates were so low then. Also, the $5,435 represents a little bit less than 4 months of time period. So the average yield on that line was 0.5593. That was under the benchmark of 0.0595. So it did not hit the benchmark that year. The benchmark, again, is the 90-day T-bill rate. For 21-22, interest of $151,803 was earned, average yield of 0.49998%. That's half of 1%. And so the benchmark was 0.7910, and that had really moved. The reason it moved is because in March of 2022, the Fed was starting to hike interest rates. And they would continue doing that for about a year and a half. You're going to see on these annual numbers how the interest rate continues to go up. So for 22-23, interest of $1.3 million was earned for the year, and an average yield of 4.2837%, under the benchmark, again, of 4.6006%. For 23-24, interest of $1.7 million was earned at an average yield of 5.3%. By this time, the Fed had quit hiking rates, and the composition of the investment pool had caught up with the 90-day Treasury bill. So the average yield of 5.3 was higher than the benchmark of 5.2399. So that is a quick look at how the interest has been earning over the past few years. The takeaway from this slide is that everything over $30 million is interest, $3,184,811. So total interest earned since May 6th, 2021 is $3,184,811. According to the parameters of the resolution, the allocation of the interest earnings is as follows. 90% of the Student Success Scholarship Fund, or $2.8 million, should go for those type of scholarships. 9% for student emergency needs, or $286,633. 1% to corpus, or $31,848 for growth. The total amount of corpus at the end of August 31st, 2024, going forward is $30,031,848. So a very, very important aspect of this whole plan is the main purpose, which is to issue scholarships. So we're going to talk about the Scholarship Selection Committee a little bit. and they have been busy. So May 13th, 2024 was the first meeting of the Executive Committee to discuss the committee charge and eligibility criteria for scholarship awarding. That began with the Executive Committee. And then that information then moved over to the Scholarship Selection Committee that is chaired by Ms. Lopez. So they began reviewing the eligibility criteria and questions for the student scholarship online application and developing that with the help of IT. Final revisions were presented on July 3rd of the eligibility criteria, and the final review was on July 8th, 2024 for the application process. On July 15th was when this application online process was opened for students. Along with that, Dr. Carrie Moe worked her magic and did press release announcements that were covered by all local media, featured on EPCC news and social media, and a text message was also sent to all students. So there was a wide distribution of that information. July 23rd, the Scholarship Selection Committee began their evaluations, and on July 26th, the application process closed. The result is 191 students were recommended for awarding by the Scholarship Committee. And on September 17th, the Executive Committee approved the awarding to the recommended selected students. Financial aid will process the awards and send award notifications to awardees, and financial aid will coordinate with the Bursar's office for dispersing and applying funds to the students' accounts moving forward. So what is the criteria that students had to meet? Student Success Endowment Scholarship is open to students who have completed the admission process and are eligible for in-state tuition. Students must complete a financial aid application, the FAFSA and the TASPA, each year. If required, must complete the verification process. Student Success Endowment Scholarship covers up to 8 hours of in-state tuition and mandatory fees for up to 6 consecutive semesters. Students are responsible for additional costs. Students must be continuously enrolled each fall and spring. Summer is optional, but recommended so they can complete their degree. Students must maintain SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress, as determined by the Financial Aid Office at the end of each semester to maintain the scholarship. This generally means maintaining a minimum GPA of 2.0 and passing a minimum of 67% of all hours attempted. Additionally, Student Endowment Scholarship will pay for classes included in the program of study that the students are pursuing. Students are responsible for the cost of classes that are not part of their selected program of study. This here again is meant for them to get a degree sooner. Scholarship will pay for non-credit workforce programs offered through continuing education that lead to a technical certificate, such as healthcare programs. The amount will be the amount equivalent to the cost of 8 semester credit hours, or $1,088. The Student Endowment Scholarship will not pay for three-peat charges, books, course materials, supplies, or uniforms. Students are required to give EPCC permission to send notifications and messages related to the Student Success Endowment Scholarship. This is very important because financial aid is monitoring their compliance with 2.0 and maintaining eligibility. So that line of communication needs to remain open. So the budget for 2024-2025, the total interest allocated for the scholarship fund is $2,866,330. There were 191 awardees. Over a 2-year period, we are reserving $1,246,848 in case all of those students complete. That will leave a remaining carry-forward balance of $1,619,482 to be allocated towards the next cohort beginning in 25-26. The objectives for next year: implement an investment strategy with the advice from Hilltop Securities Asset Management. Contract with the external audit firm of Peña Briones McDaniel at the year-end audit to review administration's compliance with the parameters that have been set forth in the resolution. Strategize with the Board of Trustees on awarding funding to address students' emergency needs. Monitor progress of fiscal year 24-25 scholarship awardees. Financial aid is going to be very busy doing that. Then refine the scholarship awarding process and prepare for the fiscal year 25-26. Those are the objectives going forward. It was a fast process that we did this year, so we anticipate having to refine some of our steps to get information out quicker and to a larger group of students. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Flores, would you again go over, explain to me so I understand clearly, what is the relationship of the board here and the Student Endowment Fund Executive Committee? What's the relationship between those two groups?
Yes, sir. The executive committee is subject to the exclusive control and oversight of the Board of Trustees to manage the Student Success Endowment Fund. It is our responsibility to carry out the directives of the board.
Okay, then I guess I'm really unclear as to why on this, that we don't have a representative on the executive committee from the Board of Trustees, since that, I mean, is there a reason why the board chair, not any one individual, but the board chair of the trustees, is there a reason why they can't be there? Maybe Mr. Ortega, is there a restriction that we can't have there? I don't know why the decision or the non-decision is made to exclude a member, a trustee, to be on the executive committee. It seems to me if we're responsible for it, that we should have a representative, and I would think that would be the board chair.
I don't know the answer to that, sir.
Who do we go to get an answer for that?
To me.
Okay.
So, Mr. Uxer, there's no reason that a board member cannot serve in the capacity. The board charged me with moving forward with it, and we have kept the board abreast of every step that we've taken with regards to the Student Success Endowment Fund. Should the board and the board chair determine that there needs to be a member on the executive committee, we're happy to have a member of the board's choosing. We were just moving really, really quickly. The time on task that we needed to put forward with it, and each of these individuals to serve in that capacity was one that was, at the time, from my perspective, beyond any one of the board members being able to sit on that respective committee. But again, that is purely a board decision. We were moving quickly to make sure that we were able to implement it for this fall. But again, should the board choose to have a representative?
Understand, I do that, but I think that for continuity of information, and so that the board, as deemed by our representative, and I would think it should be the board chair, no matter who it is, have the ability to be, made aware and educated as to what is being looked at and discussed, as opposed to the executive committee just advising the board.
Fair enough.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Mr. Haggerty, I'd like to thank the board for putting together a very good resolution with clear parameters that we need to follow, along with the help of legal counsel. And want to thank you all for doing that. Want to thank the executive committee who worked hard looking at the student eligibility criteria along with the scholarship selection committee. And so, very briefly, I would like to introduce the managing director from Hilltop Securities. He doesn't have a presentation, but I wanted him to introduce himself to you. He will be providing us with strategy guidance on investing. And so Mr. Scott McIntyre has been in this profession for over 25 years. He's a frequent economic commentator from different agencies and conferences and those kind of things. I remember seeing him years ago, but he's very well versed and very knowledgeable. So I'd like to introduce Scott McIntyre and let him say a few words to you.
Good evening, good afternoon. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I flew in from Austin. Just kind of to give you some brief idea of the strategy. So these funds would be invested into government securities. This is not going to be into anything, obviously, it's going to be risky because principal is very important to maintain. We're not going to cut into that principal. Unfortunately, interest rates have moved sharply lower over the course of the last couple months, so the timing isn't perfect. I was talking to Fernie originally about the idea of stacking some maturities out there that will give us a reliable cash flow. Still going to do that, but instead of putting so much money out, say in the 5 to 7 year, which is where the policy is now extended, I would expect more of a ladder to where we'd go 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, out 7. The concept would be the same. You still see a reliable coupon flow off your government securities, and that coupon flow would be what your scholarships would be funded with. I just want to sort of give you an idea that interest rates have come down. That's somewhat unfortunate. We don't know where they're going to be next year at this time. So we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're not diversifying, which is really what we're going to try to do going forward. So you'll see very clearly the strategy that's laid out. And just for right now, I want to make sure that you know who I am, that we're on board, that the securities that are selected will wind up being the highest quality. Certainly, principal will never be impacted on that. So again, my name is Scott McIntyre, Managing Director for Hilltop Securities. I'm not sure if any of you have any questions at this point in time, but I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Just make the fund grow and grow, so we can get scholarships to the kids. And make sure nobody can touch the core.
Worry not, that corpus will be protected.
Okay. That was our mandate.
What strategies do you employ to determine like what securities or what direction you're gonna go with advising the?
So fortunately, your policy and state law is
Restricted.
it is restricted. I was trying to think of a really good word. It's restricted by its nature. So we're never in a position where we'd be looking at again, equities or ETFs or anything along those lines. The question is how much is liquid, retained liquid, how much goes out on the curve, how far do we go out? We'll be picking spots that offer value. At this point in time, it appears as though rates are heading, they're already down. The prevailing thought is that they will roll down further, which is why we would try to invest what we could when we could. The only difference between now and 2 months ago is that, again, I think we would have put more longer on the maturity scale, and now we'll break it into smaller pieces and ladder it out. That would be the difference. This strategy is not, it's not something that we're cooking up in a lab. It's pretty simple. It's almost embarrassingly simple. It's just a question of the mix between liquid and fixed and where on the maturity ladder we position.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Nice to meet you.
It's good to meet all of you, and we appreciate it. Look forward to working with you.
Is she here now?
Jeez.
Say it all over again.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll go back to item 1.7.1. Dr. William Serrata, College President, will recognize individuals who have retired from El Paso Community College.
Chair Haggerty and members of the board, it's my pleasure to once again recognize Ms. Rosemary Lujan, who will retire from El Paso Community College with more than 30 years of service. She began her career at the college in 1989 as a part-time employee in the records department of the admissions and registration office, and worked her way up to a full-time position as an admissions and registration assistant. During her tenure at the college, Ms. Lujan was an integral part of the admissions and registration office. She volunteered for various college activities and committees and has represented the college in events like Apply Texas, intake sessions, TACRO, as well as Operation College Bound, and countless commencement ceremonies. Ms. Lujan demonstrated an exceptional commitment to the college and touched the lives of her colleagues and college friends. As a natural leader and teacher, she was always happy to share her knowledge and experience with her team. She recognized the value of education for her students and worked to provide the best experience for all she served. In particular, she was quite the problem solver and made sure that she always provided students with the answer or a direct path to the answer. Ms. Lujan's willingness to put in extra time and effort to serve our students demonstrated a commitment to excellence and set the bar for customer service expectations in the department. In her retirement, Ms. Lujan looks forward to spending time with her children and grandchildren and getting some much-needed rest. While we will miss her dearly, we wholeheartedly wish her joy and good health in the next stage of her life. Ms. Lujan, thank you for over 30 years of service to the college district.
I guess we'll have to go down.
Thank you, totally understand.
Right in between those two.
Section 1.9, Board of Trustees Business. Item 1.9.1, discussion and action to approve board resolution regarding the alert training program.
Move to approve 1.9, 1.92.
Second.
Can you read 1.9.2, Bill?
Item 1.9.2, discussion and action to authorize Dr. William Serrata or his designee to execute a letter of support and/or no objection on behalf of the college for a subzone expansion of Foreign Trade Zone 58 to include a pecan process facility of SNRA Commodities, Inc. at 1601 North Fabens Road, Fabens, Texas 79838.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.9.3, discussion and action to authorize Dr. William Serrata or his designee to execute a letter of support and/or no objection on behalf of the college for a minor boundary modification of Foreign Trade Zone 58 to include a distribution facility of World Haul Logistics LLC at 13490 Pelicano Drive, El Paso, Texas 79928.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Call a question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.9.4 will be discussed after executive session. Section 1.10, Board Reports. Item 1.10.1, Treasurer's Report. There is none. Item 1.10.2, President's Report. Item 1.10.2.1, Dr. William Serrata, College President, will update the Board of Trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at El Paso Community College.
Chair Haggerty and members of the board, I'd like to begin my report by congratulating the college faculty who have reached the rank of full professor. We held the second professor celebration where 25 professors were honored with the distinction of full professor. I would like to thank Dr. Smith, Rachel Viramontes, their office staff, as well as staff from our office for their hard work and efforts to ensure that professors feel recognized. I'd also like to thank Chair Haggerty, Dr. Graham, Mrs. Robles, and Mr. Mendez for representing the board. Obviously, want to thank Dr. Burnham for being there as well. We want to congratulate our faculty on this prestigious milestone. And once again, congratulations to our full professors. Continuing our congratulations, EPCC celebrated 30 licensed vocational nurse graduates in the auditorium. Included in that number are 10 graduates from Silva Magnet High School who received their vocational nurse degrees as well. Congratulations to all of our graduates. I'd like to thank the college, UTEP, as well as the Small Business Administration Department for coming together to offer essential safety training to local workers. This collaborative effort, which took place in late August at the college's Administrative Services Center, focused on addressing critical safety issues in the construction industry through specialized training programs at EPCC's Risk Management Institute. The college's Risk Management Institute has been awarded a prestigious safety and health training grant from the U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration for the 6th consecutive year. This year, the Institute received $160,000 for training classes to be held in 2024. These classes were offered in both English and Spanish and targeted workers who had limited access to occupational safety and health education, including young workers, temporary workers, minorities, individuals with low literacy and limited English proficiency, and other hard-to-reach groups employed by small businesses with 250 or fewer employees. I'd like to recognize the opportunities the college's early college high school programs provide to our students. Isis Sepulveda graduated from Montwood High School in 2020, earning an Associate of Multidisciplinary Studies with a concentration in civil engineering from the college via the early college high school program. She then earned an Associate of Science degree in Architecture in 2022 from the college, then attended Texas Tech's College of Architecture, earning a degree this spring at just 22 years of age. EPCC helped her realize her dream from a foundation at the early college high school to the college proper and then to Texas Tech. Congratulations, Isis. We look forward to seeing all the great things that you'll accomplish. The enhanced library card offered by the El Paso Public Library Program will be available in September and October at the Jenna Welch and Laura Bush Community Library. This card is expected to help senior citizens, the homeless, formerly incarcerated individuals, newly arrived migrants, people with disabilities, and veterans to obtain services as well as open bank accounts. The enhanced library cards will offer a range of new features, including official recognition by the El Paso Police Department and the El Paso County Sheriff's Department, among others. The card is free of charge, and applicants must be at least 18 years of age. The college's Veteran Resource Center is proud to announce that El Paso Community College chapter of the Student Veterans of America has been established. effective September 2024. The chapter held its initial meeting this September at the Valle Verde Campus Veterans Resource Center, where the chapter's mission, goals, and purpose were discussed through a dedicated network of nearly 1,600 on-campus chapters in all 50 states and 3 countries, representing more than 750,000 student veterans. Student Veterans of America inspires yesterday's warriors by connecting student veterans with a community of dedicated chapter leaders. These passionate leaders work daily to provide the necessary resources, network support, and advocacy to ensure student veterans can effectively connect, expand their skills, and ultimately achieve their greatest potential. All military-affiliated students attending the college are challenged to come out and be a part of the voice of the student veteran body at EPCC. Earlier this month, our dental hygiene students, alongside faculty members Teresa Piscina and Diana Sotelo, visited Hoy Elementary School, engaging with approximately 100 children from pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. The students creatively set up interactive stations focused on toothbrushing, flossing, and nutrition education. Dental hygiene student Zena Rodriguez said it was rewarding to educate children who may not be familiar with dental hygiene, whether due to limited access to dental care or even the lack of basic tools like a toothbrush. This outreach is crucial in promoting early prevention and establishing lifelong oral hygiene habits, helping young children understand how their daily routines impact their overall health. I'd like to thank the Medical Assisting Program in collaboration with the EMT program, who actively participated in the successful flu drive throughout all campuses this month. Participants included faculty, staff, students, as well as the community. More than 700 vaccines were administered district-wide. The disciplines also participated in the EPCC Expo on Friday, September 13th, where high school educators and counselors visited our open house to learn about our programs. Our State of the College address was delivered on September 19th in the auditorium. It was also televised via YouTube to all of our respective campuses. We had well over 200 faculty and staff attend the address here at the ASC and over 400 views on YouTube. I was able to share the great work of our faculty and staff are doing and share information about the upcoming 89th legislative session. It was a pleasure to see so many familiar faces attend the address. The EPCC Foundation hosted its annual Fajitas and Margaritas for Student Scholarship fundraiser, which sold out more than a week in advance. This year, there were 29 company sponsors, and the event preliminarily raised approximately $90,000, a record for this event. Many thanks to Dr. Dolores Gross, Executive Director of Resource Development, the EPCC Foundation team, the Foundation Board, and the many volunteers from departments across the college and community who shared their time. Thank you also to the generous sponsors, donors, and each of you who purchased tickets, which will help even more students earn their degrees. This event would not be possible without EPCC faculty chefs and the culinary arts students who worked all day to showcase their incredible cooking skills. 5 faculty chefs and 65 students worked all day to support 4 teams in this fundraiser and friendly competition. Congratulations to Chef New and Chef Morales and the students of La Perra's team, whose Uzu Margarita and Asian Mexican fusion Sudadero Fajita in a bao bun won this year's competition. The EPCC Foundation also presented 4 scholarships at the event. Congratulations to our culinary students, Melanie Carranza, Marco Morales, Dayanara Reyes, and JC Duran, who each won $750 scholarships from the EPCC Foundation. I'd also like to thank the board members, each of the board members who were able to attend and represent the college. Chair Haggerty, that concludes my report. I'm happy to respond to any questions the board may have.
Any questions for Dr. Serrata? Thank you, Doctor.
Item 1.11, consent docket. There is none. Section 2, administration. Item 2.1, CC logo, presented for second reading and approval.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 2.2, CGC, CHA, FFDA, FLB, local policies, presented for first reading, review, and comment. No action is required. Section 3, personnel. Item 3.1, information items, institutionally, externally funded full-time staff and faculty appointments, extensions, resignations, and retirements. No action is required. Section 4, financial services. Item 4.1, discussion and action on the approval of a contract with governmentjobs.com doing business as NeoEd to provide a web-based recruitment, position, and performance management system in an amount not to exceed $233,337 for a 3-year period.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 4.2, discussion and action on the approval of a contract award to American Data Bank LLC for drug screenings, motor vehicle records, MVR checks, background checks, and compliance logging services in an amount not to exceed $150,000.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 4.3, discussion and action to adopt the broker-dealer list for investments.
Move to approve 4.3 and 4.4.
Second.
Second.
Read 4.4 first, Bill.
Item 4.4, discussion and action on the authorization to enter into an interlocal agreement with Educational and Institutional Cooperative Service, Inc., E&I, a nonprofit sourcing cooperative exclusively focused on serving the education community.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Section 5, physical facilities, there is none. Section 6, curriculum and instruction. Item 6.1, discussion and action on the approval of the new credit program certificate in social media in the amount of $85,657.
Move to approve? Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.2, discussion and action on the acceptance of a contract award from the Federal Correctional Institution, FCI, La Tuna, in the amount of $50,040.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.3, discussion and action on the acceptance of a sub-grant award from the American Association of Community Colleges, AACC, in the amount of $20,000.
Move to approve? Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.4, discussion and action on the acceptance of a grant award from Humanities Texas in the amount of $2,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.5, discussion and action on the approval of the restated and amended 6 Socorro ISD P-TEX Blazers, Bulldog, Empire, Falcon, Spartan, and Synergy interlocal agreements.
Move to approve 6.5 and 6.6.
Second.
Item 6.6, discussion and action on the approval of the restated and amended 6 Socorro ISD Early College High Schools, Empire, Falcon, Pebble Hills, Rams, Socorro, and Trailblazers in a local agreement.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Section 7, Student Services. Item 7.1, discussion and action on the approval to award a contract to the NCHERM Group LLC, also known as TNG Consulting, to provide professional membership, support, software, training, and professional services to El Paso Community College in an amount not to exceed $643,500 for a 3-year period.
Move to approve 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3.
Second.
Go ahead and read 7.2 and 7.3, Bill.
Item 7.2, discussion and action on the approval of a contract to the University of Texas at El Paso UTEP Office of Special Events for the use of the Don Haskins Center for commencement ceremonies in an amount not to exceed $150,000. Item 7.3, discussion and action on the approval to purchase from Exxon Enterprises, Inc., 32 Taser 7s for the El Paso Community College Police Department in the amount of $144,989.
Any discussion?
Yes. Dr. Amaya, the tasers, it's sort of a multiple what if. Do we have tasers? Is this new tasers? Is this replacement tasers? The people using tasers, do they have training? Does this include training? Or if they're replacement tasers, does the training they had on the old, I see the chief is coming in. But how do you know, I mean, so we're getting new tasers. Is this going to be new and they get training, or does this replace and they already have tasers? Or if it's new, does the current training apply, or will we have training? I mean, and the reason for that is that we watch all these TV shows, or you hear that where somebody accidentally grabbed a pistol instead of a taser, you know. So how do we make sure that we tase people instead of shoot them?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, sir. So these are new tasers. Some of the officers that we have on board, they are already certified because they have to get their certification before they graduate the academy. So the newer officers, they're already certified. The officers that have been with us for a while, they're not certified, but the purchase of these tasers include the training.
Okay.
And they include training for one officer to attend the certification course, and then that officer will return, and then in turn they will certify everybody else that is going to carry a taser. Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Anybody interested, that comes to $4,600 per taser.
It's better than a .45 pistol.
But I think that's a big part of it is training. I hope that we don't tase anybody that's not supposed to be tased. Call the question, Bill.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Mr. Mendez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Section 8, Community Services, there is none. Would the board like to go into executive session?
Yes, please.
Item 1.3, Executive and Closed Session. The Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons. 1, consultation with its attorney to seek or receive legal advice or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation or for any purpose authorized by law. 2, discussion about the value or transfer of real property. 3, discussion about a prospective gift or donation. 4, consideration of specific personnel matters. 5, discussion about security, personnel, or devices. Or 6, discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on this agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session. Item 1.3.1, discussion with legal counsel regarding the purchase and sale agreement with Farmer Select LLC pursuant to Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code. The time is now 5:29 and the board is in executive session.
Okay, we're back from executive session, and we're at our regular meeting. Bill, could you read, I think it was 9.4?
Item 1.9.4, discussion and action regarding the purchase and sale agreement with Farmer Select LLC.
Make a a motion to approve the item as recommended by legal counsel during executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Miss- Mr. Exer.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Ms. Nájera.
Aye.
Mr. Mendez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. And I'd like to let the public know our next board meeting is in the same room on October the 29th at 4:30. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Well, it's been fun.
Good.